What is possible in the pause?
I'm Stephanie Filardi. Welcome to Mind the Gap, the podcast. I believe many people fall short of living the life of their dreams simply because they get stuck in what I call the gap. The vision behind this podcast is to help you understand how to navigate the gap and in the process, awaken to the life that is waiting for you. It starts now. Let's go.
Hi friends, thanks for joining today. Episode 45. Wow. Thank you for being dedicated and committed listeners. Let us begin by taking 5 conscious breaths. I think we've all graduated to 5 at this point. So inhale, filling belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, release out of the mouth, let it go. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, surrender, release. Inhale, belly, ribs, and chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, and belly. 2 more. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, release. Let go. Soften the shoulders. Relax the body. 1 more time. Inhale, filling completely. Exhale, release. Surrender. Let go. In today's podcast, I want to share with you on a personal and professional level keys to resilience as we navigate the COVID-19 crisis. I feel that this is a tremendous opportunity to share with you some of the ways that I have been experiencing this time with the intention of inspiring you to use this time in a way that helps you navigate with as much peace as possible so that when we get through this, which we will emerge as a version of ourselves that we are proud of. So when I was contemplating about what to share, I decided to come up with 3 key areas, 3 keys to resilience as we navigate this COVID-19 crisis. And I'm going to speak to you from a personal and professional perspective because it's intertwined. Many of you know that I am co-founder and owner of Bronxville Wellness Sanctuary, a small business where we are dedicated to providing sanctuary for body, mind, and spirit through our services, our classes, our retreats, our offerings such as this podcast and my blog. So, of course, as a business owner in these times, we have felt the dramatic impact of having to close our physical doors on March 22nd. And here we are a little over 2 months with our doors still closed physically and no real idea of when we might be, quote, allowed to reopen. So I think the most traumatic part of this for me was the extreme halt, literally going from a business that was thriving to a business that within 3 days completely stopped. And I know many of you have this experience as business owners and some of you might not. So recognizing that we all come from different places in what we're doing, The reason why I'm sharing this is because all of us in some way have been put in a pause. We have been put in this pause, and sharing with you about what I'm learning, sharing about what I'm learning is the intention behind today's conversation. So the first key is simplicity. This is something that I have felt in my life for many years, and I have tried to instill in our business. And as many of you can understand, as a business, oftentimes there is an intention to grow, right? To offer more, to be more, to tap into prosperity. And oftentimes when we are focused on that, things can become complicated. So something that I'm noticing right now in my personal life and professional life is that anything that has become complicated, that doesn't feel good, right? So there's a place of feeling that we can attune to and say, this feels heavy, or this feels complicated, or this feels negative, or this feels off, whatever it is. Those are things that I'm letting go. Simplicity. So in simplifying our life, we get rid of what is no longer essential. Maybe it's clothing, right? Maybe it's ways of being. Maybe it's thought patterns. So this concept of simplicity is powerful and freeing. And I believe all of us have the opportunity right now to take an honest look at our life and discover what has become too complicated, where it no longer feels good. Where have we kind of gotten away from what is really important and what matters? And that leads to the second key, which is what I'll call a return to truth or truth. So in these times, many of us are faced with uncertainty. We're faced with the unknown. We're faced with a lot of questions and perhaps not a lot of answers. So this is an opportunity to really get clear on what matters. What is true for us? What is the vision that we have for our life? What is the vision we have for our business? And I can say for me, this is something that I really do on a fairly regular basis, is connect to what is it that matters? What is my vision? And when it comes to the business, it's always been clear that we are there to provide space, to provide sanctuary for body, mind, and spirit. These days, we're doing it virtually. So that's a pretty straightforward one, because I'm connected to that business in such a way where if something doesn't feel right, then it's not providing sanctuary for me, and therefore it's not going to provide sanctuary for those who enter. But sometimes when it comes to our personal life, it's hard to discern what that is. Sometimes it's because we've never maybe asked the question, or maybe it's because we haven't had the time to ask and to reflect. So this is really about returning to truth and coming back to what are the things that light you up? What are the things that make you feel alive? What are the things that get you excited? And I know that might sound to some of you a little bit unrealistic right now, but I promise you, if you reflect on this question, it could be the simplest thing of being at home and not having to get in a car or on a subway if you live in New York. So it's different for everybody. There's a multitude of examples. For me, one of the things that I love is to feel the peace that comes from the pause itself. So not having a business that's physically open 7 days a week, there's actually a peace in that. Because no matter what, and we have a great team at the sanctuary, there's always something that could possibly happen, right? So there's always this kind of being on. So there's a peace in knowing that the physical doors are closed, that I'm relishing. So as the doors open again, how do I maintain the connection to that peace, right? How do I maintain that way of being, knowing that initially the doors will be open not 7 days, right? We're still trying to figure that part out. So there's this place in me that's very clear on what matters. what matters. So I encourage you, return to the truth of what is important to you in your personal life, in your professional life. If it's in the area of relationship, maybe it's being more aligned with people who you truly feel are positive partners on the path. Friends, family, romantic partners. The third key is what I'll call opportunity. So there's something about obstacles that I somewhat enjoy because I like to solve problems. So I tend to do extremely well when situations are extremely challenging. It's almost like I get very focused and I'm able to be like a laser. So this time of pause, this time of transition, if you can harness this space and use it as an opportunity to discover parts of yourself that you didn't know exist, or maybe parts of yourself that were sleeping, you can turn whatever faces you as an obstacle into an opportunity. And that's what gets me excited because I believe that all of life is an opportunity to grow and to evolve and to discover. And what's happening right now, which is a paradox in some ways, and I've talked about paradox in other episodes, is that even though we're in this pause, there's also an acceleration. So while we're in this pause on the level of form in many cases, meaning we can't go here, we can't go there, we can't conduct business as usual, so to speak, or social activities as usual. There's also the possibility for a tremendous acceleration of our spiritual growth, of our personal growth, of our inner growth, right? Of the inner garden, of tending to the inner garden. So that ability to go inward provides us with fertile ground to create something new. To create something new. So these three keys to resilience as we navigate this COVID-19 crisis, simplicity, truth, opportunity, can help guide us into the future, into who we're becoming. Because I feel like there's this tendency at times to think that things will get better when X or Y happens, right? Like there's this idea, like I just need to get through this. And when things reopen or, when things get back to the quote new normal, then I can feel this. But that's the illusion. Because all we ever have is the present moment, is right now and right now and right now. And when we really start to understand that, not only from a conceptual mental place, but also from a feeling embodiment place where we actually live it, then what we get to do is we get to use the present moment to be intentional about what we want to create in the future. But if we're constantly in the space of the present physically, but wanting to be somewhere else, we're creating suffering. And that's the gap, right? When we're somewhere here, but we want to be, quote, over there, that's the space between that many of us get lost in. It's the place where we lose energy at times, where we're afraid, where we make poor choices. And that idea of the gap, this whole entire podcast that I created last year, is designed to help us navigate the space that we are exactly in now, the gap, the place of in-between. So as I close today, I want to share with you 3 final words of wisdom. As you navigate this pause, this gap, as you think about what's possible, as you look at how these 3 keys of simplicity, truth, and opportunity can guide you, the 3 things I'd like you to remember. First, be gentle with yourself. I spoke about this last week. This is the time to have compassion. And there is a difference between compassion and enabling, right? Enabling is coming from a place of powerlessness. Compassion is coming from a place of strength. The second thing is recognizing your attention, where your attention goes. So what you're focusing on mentally, your thoughts, your words, what you're saying, what you're doing, where your attention goes, your energy flows. So attention energizes. So when you focus on the positive, you get more positive in your life, in your mind, you feel it. And what starts to happen is the negative starts to fall away. We're so trained to focus on what's wrong, to be afraid, to be in worry. When you really start to attune yourself and focus your attention on the positive, on the possibility, on the opportunity, that is what you will start to create. Third is intention. So intention transforms. And if you remember the definition of transformation, transformation is creating something new. Creating something new, which is happening right now, whether we like it or not. So we may as well align our attention, energy, and our intention to what we are wanting to create. My intention, as I shared with you, is to continue to be connected to my truth of what's important in my personal life and my professional life. To simplify, because as I simplify, I feel more connected, I feel more peaceful. And to continue to embrace the ways of being and doing that generate a sense of connection, peace, and prosperity. So it's almost like a roadmap. It's focusing on the world that I want to live in, the world that I want to co-create with others. As always, let me know how I can support you. Stay connected. Give yourself the gift of this time and space to go in, to discover a new frontier. Thanks for listening. Let's go.
If you find this podcast helpful and if it provokes you in any way, meaning you love what I have to say, or maybe you don't like it because it triggers you, awesome. I've moved something in you, and perhaps you will want to share this with someone else in your life who might be interested in being moved. So you can find us on Apple, on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts. And as always, feel free to share links with people you love, because remember, we are in relationship with each other. So the more that you are present and you invite other people on the journey, the more peaceful world we will live in, because we will be together understanding these concepts. So I thank you for your support, and you help us keep the show going by sharing it, by liking it, by giving us reviews, and helping us to grow. Thank you.